Hello everyone and welcome to episode 10 of the Skyrim Ultimate Modding Guide. I am being a little bit quiet because there are people sleeping in the house, very close by. But this is going to be a relaxed episode anyways, so it'll put me in the right voice, to put you in the right mood, to put me in the mood for a nice relaxing break after installing a bunch of mods the last episode. So using the merge plugins v1.9 script from within SSE Edit in Mod Organizer, you used to not have to extract the BSAs. I don't know if things have not been updated yet for Special Edition and Mod Organizer 2, but now it seems as if we have to extract the BSAs because certain mods that we've merged are missing their meshes and textures. So what we need to do is, this is going to be a little bit of a cleanup episode, so to speak. And what I want you to do is go into your Archives tab of Mod Organizer and look at your BSAs, and they should all be checked off. Now, if you find some that are unchecked, like you see here with Kynes Grove, Shores Stone, Darkwater Crossing, a BSA is basically a bunch of meshes and textures compressed and packed into a singular file, at least from my very limited understanding of a BSA. So what we need to do for all of these mods, because we can't take them off, they are associated with the original mods, which we still have installed. And so I thought, for example, leaving these installed, but just disabling the ESP by moving it into optional, would allow the BSAs to still be active. But these BSAs are associated directly with these ESPs, and if you move the ESPs, there's no way to reactivate the BSAs that are associated with those ESPs, or at least that I know of. So what we need to do, just to be extra sure that we actually are going to have the assets associated with the mods that we've merged, is go to the video description. In the top of the video description, I've left a link to Bethesda Archive Extractor, and I want you to do a manual download of that, Bay v0.10. Once you've got Bay downloaded, I want you to extract it and open it up and run the application Bay executable. Now let's just go down the list and extract every BSA that we're missing. Prometheus Beast Skeletons. Beast Skeletons is mod 107. Let's open it in the Explorer. If you'll recall, Beast Skeletons has been merged into our MTH Monsters mod. So let's drag the Prometheus Beast Skeletons.bsa into the Bay window, hit extract, and find the MTH Monsters folder, and open it, and select folder. Now drag the Prometheus Beast Skeletons Textures.bsa into the Bay window, and hit extract, extracting into MTH Monsters. Now let's continue scrolling through the archives, and you'll see we're missing Wendigos and Howlers, which is mod 133. So let's open Wendigos and Howlers in the Explorer, and this one also belongs in the MTH Monsters merged file. So let's drag the Wendigo and Howler BSA into the Bay window and extract it to 137 MTH Monsters. Now drag the Wendigo and Howler Textures BSA into the Bay window and extract into MTH Monsters. Now you'll notice we're also missing the Growl Ice Troll, Growls on Solstheim BSA, and the Textures BSA, which is from mod 135, Growl the Ice Troll. So let's open that file in the Explorer and drag Growls on Solstheim BSA into the Bay window and extract into MTH Monsters. Now drag the Growls on Solstheim Textures BSA into the Bay window and extract into the same. Now let's continue scrolling through the Archives tab of the Mod Organizer application to see if we are missing any more. And it turns out we are missing the Elemental Staffs BSA and Textures BSA from mod 159. which is Elemental Staffs Special Edition. So let us open in Explorer the Elemental Staffs mod. Now let's drag the Elemental Staffs BSA into the bay window and extract, this time going back to the mods folder and finding number 174 spell mods merged and selecting that folder. Now drag the Elemental Staffs textures.bsa into the bay window and select extract into the same folder. Now let's continue scrolling through the BSA tabs of Mod Organizer, and you will see that we are missing the Elder Scrolls Tomes BSAs, which is from Mod 168, the Elder Scrolls Tomes Skyrim Magic add-on. Let's open it in the Explorer and drag the Skyrim Magic add-on BSA into the bay window and extract it into 174 spell mods merged. Now drag the Skyrim Magic add-on textures BSA into the bay window and extract it into the same. Now you'll notice we are also missing Witch Hunter Pack BSA from Mod 170 Witch Hunter Spells and Prayers Pack. Right click and open in Explorer. Now let's drag the Witch Hunter Pack BSA into the bay window and extract it into Spell Mods Merged. Now let's continue scrolling for missing BSAs. It looks like that's all we needed and we should be good to go. In Spell Mods Merged, I've got some conflicts with Realistic Water 2 and Noble Skyrim, and I'm going to just hide these files in Spell Mods Merged. We've got those files in the game anyways. The mod should be able to call them up. Now under the second link in the video description below, you should find Customizable Camera on the Skyrim Special Edition Nexus. Download the main file and let's install at 2.11 and select OK. Okay guys, so after some extensive testing, it seems like we have some problems with our Arthmore's Towns expansion merged patch, specifically with Kynesgrove and Darkwater Crossing. All of the rest seem fine, but the merged Kynesgrove and Darkwater Crossing seem to have crashes to desktop for me. The rest of them have no problems whatsoever. I've visited them all extensively. And then furthermore, Darkwater Crossing absolutely has to be loaded after Verdant Landscape patches merged. Or basically these landscape patches for Verdant will bring the ground up to a higher level than the buildings, and basically you'll have NPCs stuck in the ground and doors underground that you can't get to and all sorts of fun, interesting things. So even with the merged patch, Arthmore's Town expansions, you'll notice I've loaded it after Verdant Landscape patches merged, after discovering that Darkwater Crossing is basically buried underground. If you don't load it after the Verdant Landscape patches merged. So essentially what we need to do is go ahead and let Kynesgrove and Darkwater Crossing remain as standalones, and then re-merge the rest of them into a new merged patch, but without Kynesgrove and Darkwater Crossing. So what I'm going to do in order to do that is I'm just going to go through one at a time and move these optional ESPs back to available so that they will appear here. So Shore's Stone, optional, move it back to available. Darkwater Crossing, optional, move it back to available. Iverstead, optional, move it back to available. Carthwasten, optional, move it back to available. Soljan's Sinkhole, optional, move it back to available. Whistling Mine, optional ESPs, move it back to available ESPs, close. Hellarkin Creek, go to optional ESPs tab and move the ESP to available. Now we should have all of these ESPs at the bottom of our load order and we can tick them all off here. Now what we want to do is just completely remove the Arthmore's Town expansions mod. completely get rid of it. Now we don't want to merge Kinesgrove and Darkwater Crossing, as I have found merging them to have some problems. So we're just going to merge Shore's Stone to Hellarken Creek. So I've dragged these two up to the top so that it's easier to get to them in Xedit. So let's load up Xedit and run it. Right click and select none. Now let's this time select Hellarken Creek, Whistling Mine, Solgen's Sinkhole, Karthwasten, Iverstead, and Shore's Stone, leaving Kinesgrove and Darkwater Crossing alone, and select OK. So left click and drag a box across Hellarken Creek, Whistling Mine, Solgen's Sinkhole, Karthwasten, Iverstead, and Shore's Stone. Right click and select Check for Errors. There should be no errors. Now right click and select Apply Script. Merge plugins v1.9, select OK. But this time I want you to click the gear icon so we can go back into settings. And this time I want you to tick the checkbox at the bottom under other options where it says extract BSAs. Now select save and select OK. Create new file. Let's call it Arthmore's Towns Merged and select OK. When it's done, close this merge plugins window. Right-click our new ESP and select Check for Errors, and then close. And select None here and make sure to only check off Arthmore's Town expansions, or Arthmore's Towns Merged.esp, and select OK. Now right-click the overwrite bar to create a new mod, and let's call this Arthmore's Towns Merged. I'm capitalizing the merged just so that it's easier to find all of these later. Now tick the checkbox to activate. Now you should see it in your plugins pane of Mod Organizer. Now let's just go ahead and deactivate all of these but Darkwater Crossing and Kinesgrove, so Shore's Stone, Iverstead, Karthwasten, Solgen's Sinkhole, Whistling Mine, and Hellarken Creek can all be deactivated. Alright, now for all of the ESPs that we just disabled, we can go in here and go to optional ESPs and move them back from available to optional once again. Making sure to leave Darkwater Crossing and Kinesgrove intact and with the ESPs in your load order. So skip Darkwater Crossing and move the Shore's Stone to optional. So you should have Arthmore's Towns Merged and Darkwater Crossing and Kinesgrove still as standalones. Now let's sort with loot. Alright, now let's just drag our Darkwater Crossing ESP to below Verdant Landscape Patches Merged and right click and select Lock Load Order. This will change as we add more mods, but for now just remember that Darkwater Crossing needs to be below Verdant Landscape Patches Merged. And then jump in to test your game, paying particular attention to Arthmore's Town expansions, Beast Skeletons and the Wendigo and Howler, which you can call up via the console, the Growl and the Elemental Staves, the Elder Scrolls Tomes, and the Witch Hunter Pack spells. Just making sure that everything actually has its appropriate meshes and textures. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.